So here we are. I'm going to talk about my expertise, my background, the type of person I've been, and the nature of me. Wow, that's a lot. There's a lot that I could cover, and I'm trying to take the quick points of different things that were key moments that I consider key moments in my life, right? What makes me me, right? So we all have moments in our lives that make you you. So I'm going to try to explain that for me and what sets me off on the track that I've been on my life, and plus the level of talent that I've been. All right, so that's what this video is going to be about. And for me, wow, I am going back to, I guess, junior high. Yeah, a long time ago. 13 years old, I was a baseball player. I was an all-star player. In fact, at 13, I was playing with the high school players at Latino Americano. I was the youngest player and the smallest player in that league, and yet I was the best defensive player in that league. In there, I also played in a league which is nearby my office here on 32nd Avenue, the Boys Club League. That's where all the future major leaguers play that come out of Miami. A lot of those players end up playing in college, and some of them actually go off to the major leagues. So I was a very talented player as an athlete. But I wasn't just an athlete, I also was a scholar athlete. So junior high, I pretty much started hitting my stride as a scholar athlete. Um, Oddly enough, this caught me by surprise. I was just focused on doing the things I had to do. One day I was taken out of class, taken to the principal's office, and a guidance counselor was talking to me. I still remember like it was yesterday. She was just staring at me. I'm like, why in the world am I here? And she said, Nathan, what makes you tick? What was that about? I don't know. She said, everyone in this school knows who you are. All the employees, all the students. And it was blowing me away. I had no idea people were paying attention to me. And yet everybody knew who I was. I was the best the school had to offer. And they were trying to understand what my motivation was. Really, back then, I really didn't know. I was just going through the motions, doing what I was supposed to do, trying to be the best at whatever else I was trying to do or expect to do. But apparently, everyone was taking notice of me. I walked out of there, sitting in class, looking around, going, is really everybody looking at me? Well, eventually it became more obvious. It's like the underclassmen started coming up to me, shaking my hands. And so, yeah, I was on a lot of different sports, and I was captain of a lot of different sports, and representing the school in a lot of different things. I still remember representing the school in the physical fitness competitions. I was the most fit athlete at my school, and I had to go against the fit athletes of every other school in Dade County. And I don't know if you know this, but Dade County's got like the toughest competition in the country when it comes to athletes. You have all of these universities coming down here recruiting football players because we're just a hotbed of athletes down here. So yeah, that day there was 6 competitions, 6 events in the competition. I finished first in 2 of the 6 events, and yeah, I just kept dominating and creating a presence for myself. But everyone took notice, and I had a high level standard for myself as a scholar athlete. In fact, I ended up winning the American Legion Award. Let me see if I can bring that on the screen here. Yeah, American Legion Award, as you can see there, that was given to the top role model of the school. Because that responsibility was given to me by the guidance counselor. He says, well, everyone's paying attention. Everything you say, Nathan, people were looking and following your lead. Wow, how about that? So I accepted that. I accepted that. I said, if I'm going to set the example for everyone, I have to be conscious of what I say and how I conduct myself. And I actually accepted that. And that has stuck with me my whole life. I still think in terms of the public. I still think in terms of the community. Whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to make sure that it's the right thing for other people, for the community, right? I'm very happy with that. I'm happy when things work out for other people. It makes me happy. So, went to high school, played baseball there. Um, I played also badminton. Surprisingly, when you start going against the best badminton players in the state, it's actually highly competitive. I mean, those matches were wars. Oh, but I played baseball there too. And then from there, I went on to the University of Miami. In my undergrad, I did engineering. Here's my diploma. You can see it there. Okay, so that's my engineering degree. In fact, at that time, University of Miami was getting certified in computer engineering. I might be the first computer engineer in the state of Florida. So the timing, pretty close. It's either me or someone else, but I don't know. I think it's me. And then at that time, computer engineering was pretty hot And I was concerned about a lot of these plants and jobs moving out of the country to China. So I switched over to my MBA, and I did my MBA at the University of Miami as well. This is my, if you ever see my other videos, you'll see I have my MBA degree, specialized in telecommunications. And so during that time, I was working for the school full time and studying full time. And I was actually the head of a student organization, TMA, Telecommunications Management Association. So I had a lot of pull. Everybody knew me, and I was, I tell you, like very driven. During that time, I continued to play sports. I was playing competitive softball. I was recruited to the National Triple Crown in softball. Snapped my tendons in half, had to staple them together. Disappointing because I was throwing extremely hard back then, over 90 miles an hour. And it took about 2 years to get rid of the pain in that arm. Kept playing football. And but I was always an athlete. And I loved playing team sports. I loved every day I woke up, I dreamt of playing team sports. I was just every day. That's what I was. I was a competitor. I loved getting the team together, going into competition, going wherever we're entering tournaments. So many tournaments. Entered a lot of things. Thousands of team competitions. Wow, that was a lot of competition and a lot of battles. Enjoyed it all. In football, I was pretty talented. Again, Miami's got the toughest competition in flag football. You have usually 3 or 4 teams here that can win the national title. Hardest thing to do is get out of Miami. So I was the Dade County All-Star quarterback. That's my jersey from the All-Star game. Dade County All-Star versus Broward County. Broward's got the second toughest competition in the country. So I think that's kind of saying something. There's a league here in Miami Lakes where it's vicious. You have 3 teams usually ranked in the top 10 in the country. And so when you play there, you better know how to play because everybody there is college football players. These are talented players. And so there was a team there that won the national title. They averaged 31 points a game. I averaged 42 points a game, 11 points better than the best team in the country. So I was very talented as an athlete. And again, I was always talented on the academic side as well. On my MBA, I remember as I was graduating there, I was considered the top MBA graduate at the University of Miami. The reason why I say that is because AT&T recruited me, even though they weren't hiring. They were in a hiring freeze. So was never interested in working for AT&T because I didn't want to work for a large company. A lot of corporate politics. It wasn't in my nature to deal with a lot of people just, in that environment. It just wasn't me. Wasn't me, right? So, but they called me out of the blue and made me an offer that I just couldn't ignore. It was quite a high-paying job, and I was working at the University of Miami at the time, and I couldn't understand why they were calling me. But it turns out they said everywhere they went, my name kept coming up. So they talked to the dean of the business school, my name came up. People in charge of the MBA program, my name came up. Head of the telecommunications department, my name came up. Everywhere they went, my name kept coming up. They literally offered me the job on the phone without even seeing me. A week later, they send me a plane ticket. I go to the headquarter office in Atlanta, and they present me the paperwork, and I said, wow, well, I'd be done to ignore this, and I took it. And I started working at AT&T here in Miami. They considered it a prestigious position, high-paying position. If you prorate inflation to today's dollars, I mean, it was quite a high-paying job. So I remember standing there in my supervisor's office about 2 weeks in. We were standing there, and he was pointing out the window and says, okay, Nathan, here at AT&T, we have to compete against Sprint, MCI, and then there was another building. He was pointing at the buildings. There was another building there he pointed. I can't remember which building that was. And he said, we are competing against them. We're trying to lock down all these clients for AT&T. But then he turns inside, and he says, but in other ways, you're competing against them. And he's pointing at the people working in the office. He says, all these people are trying to climb the ladder, and you need to be careful how you talk to them and what you say and what they're saying, and you have to watch the politics. Yeah, that's terrible. That was lousy news for me because I've been a team player my whole life. I want everyone to do well. From my perspective, I wanted our department to be the best department in the entire country. I want to help them. We all had different modules of customers we had to deal with. So what's the problem? Why can't we all just focus on our modules, our customers, and do the best that we can, rooting for each other? That was my approach to it. And it just was never going to be like that. I literally resigned that day and never went back. I said, well, this is not me. I don't want to be worried about my own teammates stabbing me in the back. I'm rooting for them. So I let it go. And then that week I started my career in real estate. There is something I'm leaving out. While I was at there was not sure if you guys remember back in the early 1990s, there was a lot of talk about the information superhighway, right? The internet has been around for much longer than you realize. It was text-based code driven. I worked at part of doing research there, going in the internet and these information that was on these different servers, and I would try to retrieve this information using telnet sites, FTP sites, and it was very difficult to use. You actually really need to know what you were doing in order to access the info. But the great thing was this transition to the World Wide Web with multimedia and people be able to share information easier. Wow, well, that's a good thing. So I was actually flown in for a workshop, a joint workshop with the University of New Mexico and the federal government to talk about the impact of the World Wide Web as it's getting rolled out. And so it was like a 3-day workshop. And first day we started talking about structure of things and information, and they're creating these different rooms where you have information. People come into your server and they can access whatever it is you're trying to share. And it was great. All wonderful at the beginning. So, music, video files, all sorts of things, right? Great. Technology. We covered about a lot of different things. Day 2, we went on a tour of the Los Alamos Research Laboratories, obviously high security clearance facility. And I really can't say what was inside. I know I signed a non-disclosure right at the front door. Yeah. So right before they punch in the code to enter, everybody had to sign off. And so there was a few of us there. It's like they would grab somebody from MIT, another person from Harvard, and it's like the Ivy League schools. They grab like top people at each of these locations and some research facilities. And we were there to try to give our input on what we thought the impact would be and the concerns would be, right? So, yeah, and then we did our tour on the inside of the Los Alamos Research Laboratories. And I really can't talk about what was inside, especially on a public video, right? So, day 3, we went back, we covered some more things. And the big topic of that big meeting and preparing the country for the internet was the topic of security. And we were all extremely concerned about that. So if you put information online and everyone can see your information, well, how do you protect your information, right? So they explained the concept of what they had, and they said it looked like it would work, and they put it out. And within 24 hours, the hackers cracked the code and were able to get access to these computers. It's wow, that's bad. But then they said, well, whatever we do, the hackers are going to break it, so we're just going to move forward anyway. Well, needless to say, we all freaked out. I mean, we're there trying to literally representing the country, right? We're the people of the country that are working with the internet, and we're there to discuss the impact of this World Wide Web on the entire public, 330 million people, and they're saying the security doesn't work. Holy crap. So, yeah, none of us were happy about that. And we couldn't stop it. So they rolled forward, and I immediately took all my private information off the internet, because if they're letting the hackers get to it, then that's not a good thing. So yeah. So moving forward, the world of real estate. After AT&T, I went into the world of real estate. I knew someone that had some rental housing projects, and I became the vice president officer of the company and the acting CEO to handle everything. I had to go in. Some of them were doing good. Some of the locations were struggling. So I had to reevaluate the structure of the businesses, which employees were there, which ones were needed, which ones were not doing right, and restructure where needed, and help the businesses turn the corner when they needed to turn the corner. And so I did that for quite a long time, dealt with about 6,000 tenants. I also, on the side, was buying properties, renovating, rehabbing, keeping rentals, keeping properties for flips for later. So I was really knee deep dealing with distressed properties and rentals and really gained a tremendous amount of experience. Eventually, I got burnt out dealing with so many thousands of tenants that I just said, okay, enough of that. I got to just stay full time with my other endeavors. All the tenants were burning me out, really. So I got into more luxury properties and oceanfront properties and houses in Pinecrest and I found a really good niche dealing with that. And so in one of my properties, this is my award for the best remodeled luxury home, judged by the South Florida Builders Association. So I was pretty good at remodeling properties, including the luxury properties. And I continued to deal with real estate. Got my real estate license in 2005. By the way, that award I came out in the Miami Herald for that. So that was, good award to win. So I had some name recognition when it came to that. So I got my real estate license in 2005. Eventually, I opened up a realty, and so that started in 2012 as well. I also attended, surprisingly, a number of conferences, and anytime I felt like I needed to know a little bit more about a certain aspect of my work, I just go wherever it was, jump on a plane and go. It cost thousands of dollars to go to all these conferences, but I really wanted to sharpen my skills to make sure I understand the entire aspect of work where it affected the outcome of my situation. So yeah, I actually attended a lot of conferences that were actually catered to attorneys. And I'm pretty savvy when it comes to reviewing those type of situations. I am not an attorney. Don't even think about it. I don't want any problems, but I know what I'm looking at. Okay, I have access to state and federal systems to do the work that I need to do. And I have kind of a unique insight because of these conferences. In fact, I've attended conferences with servicing companies, and behind the servicing companies, there's note investors. I've attended conferences with them. So I have a unique perspective because I actually have face-to-face contact and communication with a lot of these companies and people. I may be the only one in Florida doing this niche for helping the public that actually has that insight. Who else is going to pay thousands of dollars to go fly off to places like this? Well, you really have to want to be the best at your field to do that, because it's going to cost a lot of money. And that's what I do. I want to be the best in my field. And I have a unique background because of all the conferences I went to, and I've got the expertise to help the public. And at the same time, I have a commitment to the team, because when I'm helping you, I see it that we're on the same team trying to accomplish a certain goal. And I fight for my team. I've spent my life fighting for my team. In thousands of competitions, I'm fighting for my team, trying to help my team. So when something's going on that is affecting my team, if there's a third party trying to interfere with the resolution that my teammate needs, it's going to trigger me. And I'm going to fight, and I'm going to fight through those challenges. And a lot of times, the people that I'm helping don't even realize the gravity of the challenge and the problem. But I have the insight of what they're up to, and so I'm trying to make sure things work out for you. Yeah, I don't like it. So I'm very committed to making sure things work out for you. That makes me happy. It's beyond the money. I want to make sure things happen for my team. So that's it. I have the expertise. I have the motivational commitment to my teammates, the people that are on board with me. And I hope you enjoy this video, because there's really aren't that many other people like me. As I go through these different trade shows, there's no one else there. I'm the only guy. So hope you enjoyed the video. All right, talk to you soon.